Okay. Whenever we have to understand the working of the CMOS inverter, so first we know about of the ideal working of the NMOS type of the transistor and the PMOS type of the transistor. That is in the previous slide. Already we understand, right? So you know the ideal working of the NMOS and PMOS. That is, when we are applying a 1 at a gate terminal of the NMOS transistor, it will go into the on state. When we are applying a 0, it will go into the off state. Oppositely to the PMOS, in the case of the PMOS, when we are applying a 0, so PMOS will go into the on state, while when we are applying a 1, it will go into the off state. So based on that ideal working, you can easily understand the working of the CMOS inverter, right? In the case of the CMOS inverter, that is first we know about of the basics of the CMOS inverter. That is the CMOS is a complementary metal oxide semiconductors. Is a type of a metal oxide semiconductor field effect transistor that uses complementary and symmetrical pairs of the P-type and N-type MOSFET for implementing the logic functions, right? And also we know that that is the CMOS technology is used for constructing integrated circuit. That is the IC chips, like as the microprocessor, microcontroller. Also, it may be the memory chips, like as the RAM, ROM. Okay, and CMOS is previously replaced by the TTL technology. That is the transistor logic technology, right? So this is the basic of the CMOS, and also we know about of the two important characteristics of the CMOS devices. That is uh, high noise immunity and low static power consumption. That's why the CMOS is preferred in the VLSI. Okay, now with the inverter, we'll understand the ideal working. The ideal working of the inverter, this is the symbol of the inverter. We know that that is it perform the inverting operation. That is when we are applying the any uh, 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 any high signal at the input, it will opposes to the output, that is the 0, and when applying the 0 at the input, so output should be the 1. Okay, so here the ideal working with that table. Okay, when we are applying the 1, and according the ideal operation of the NMOS and PMOS, 1 as the input to the CMOS inverter, that is NMOS will go into the on state, while PMOS will in off state, right? Okay, so in the second, that is when we are applying a 0 as the input, when we are applying a 0 as the input, so output should be the 1. Okay, so when we are applying a 0, so that times this PMOS transistor will go into the on state. At the same time, NMOS will go into the off state, and because of the pull-up network, so VDD will appear across at the Y. VDD is the high voltage, or we can say the 1. So 1 will be appear across at the Y. So when we are applying the 0, that is the low voltage, and at the low voltage, output should be the 1. Okay. Next also NAND gate. This is again designing of the NAND gate. It's an we have understand with this truth table of the NAND. Okay, truth table of the NAND. So here always we have keep in our mind a few of the basic rules. Based on that rules, we can easily implement that diagram. here always keep in our mind that is when we are applying, when we are considering the case is the PMOS transistor. So in the PMOS transistor, that is the Boolean expression, the term is the multiplier. So PMOS types of the transistor in the parallel, and if the Boolean expression term in the adder, so it that times that PMOS in the series. Okay, and in the NMOS it is the opposite, right? So based on the logic of the two tables, we can easily implement the CMOS NAND gate by following the rules that is for the PMOS and NMOS, right? So same rules we have to apply for whenever we have to implement that CMOS gate designs, right? Series and parallel, all that things already we have. Okay, so this is the one of the example that we will understand. Uh, if the Boolean expression is that suppose y is equal to in bracket a plus b plus c into d and the bar. Okay. So now here we have to follow the basic rule, that is in the case of the PMOS, if the term is the adder, if the term is the adder, that is the A plus B plus C. So it means that these all the PMOS types transistor should be used in the series combination. Okay, so that's why A, B, C and these all are the p types of the transistor are in the series, and d is the multiply with this term, so that's why this d uh, uh, combined with the parallel of this abc. Okay, so abc in the series and this d is parallel with all these abc. Okay, and in the NMOS it is the opposite, that is a plus b plus c, that is the adder term. So that's why the NMOS types of the transistor are in the series, sorry, in the parallel, and the D is the multiplying with this 3. So this D will be added as a series. Okay, so A, B, C, NMOS type of the transistor in the parallel and D in the series. So this is the basic rules and very simple basic rules. So based on that rules, you know the logic, what is the logic, what you have to implement, or you have to design the CMOS circuits. So this only you know the two basic things, that is you know the logic, what logic you have to implement in the CMOS, and you know the basic rules in the case of the PMOS and NMOS, how to use the series and parallel combination. So easily you can implement the circuit. Okay. Signal strength. Again here, always keep it in our mind, that is the strength of the signal. That is again very important. How close it approximate ideal voltage source. VDD and ground rails are strongest, 1 and 0. That is the in case this is now here I'm applying the VDD. Okay, so that the VDD is the 1 and this is the VSS. So we can say the ground, it should be the strongest, 1 and 0. Okay, if these are not strongest, so what will happen? If these all the transistor is conduct, but that voltage is not the strongest, so it becomes also the it will appear same across at the Y terminal if the degraded term is there, right? So these VDD and VSS should be the strongest 1 and 0. Okay, in the case of the NMOS it support to pass a strong 0 signal, but degraded or weak 1. Okay, and oppositely in the PMOS case it pass a strong 1, but degraded or weak 0. So this is also we can say the limitation of the past transistors. Okay, so NMOS and PMOS that can if you use individually to implement any CMOS logic circuit. So in that case, we know about of the uh, what what are the what are the strong signal with the NMOS or the PMOS. Okay, if you have designed, if you have implement the any design with the individually use the only NMOS types of the transistor or the PMOS types of the transistor. In that case, always keep it in your mind, that is the NMOS is the support to pass a strong 0 signal, but degraded or the weak one, right? But in the case of the PMOS types of the transistor, it support to pass the strong 1 signal, but degraded weak 0, right? So what do by the strong 0 and weak 1? That is the strong 0. So strong zero, it means that it will pass the strong zero signal. Okay, if I am applying the one, but it not will be the pass as a high one, that is the higher voltage. Suppose the one in terms of voltage, we can say the 5 volt is there. So when it will pass through the NMOS switch, so it will not show almost near about of the or the near about of the 5 volt. Okay, same in the case of the PMOS, it will pass to the strong one signal. In terms of the voltage, it will pass the 5 voltage, but in the case of weak, it will not possible. Okay. So thus NMOS are best for pull down network because it passes strong zero signal. Okay, so this is the pass transistors. Transistor can be used as a switches. Right. Okay, so here also with this slide, you can understand that is the this is the symbol for the NMOS and PMOS type. When I'm applying G as a 0, G is equal to 1. Okay, so when I'm applying a 1 to the NMOS, it will go into the closed switch. Either in the case of the G is equal to 0, it is the off switch. Right, in the PMOS, if I'm applying 0, it will go into the uh, closed switch, and either or when we are applying the 1 at the gate of the PMOS, it acts as an open switch. So here also you can understand that is the strong 0. Okay, this is the degraded 1, and here in the PMOS, that is the strong 1, degraded 0. Okay, so with this concept, uh, so again in the VLSI, if you have to main aspect of the VLSI chip is that is always if you have to manufacture or we have to produce or design the any circuit that for the chips integrated circuit, right? So in that case, always we have to its size should be the low or the radius, right? With the increases of the functions, right? That is the main aspect of the VLSI chip. Whenever we have to manufacture the VLSI chip, so always keep it in your mind that is the size of the chip, it should be the radius with the increase of the function. So whenever if you have to reduce the size of the chip, so if you have to implement the same function, same logic, so you have to reduce it. Designer should reduces the size of the chip with the less size of the transistors are used on the implement the same logic function, right? So that will be possible with the transmission gate. So that's why whenever we have to implement the any or manufacture the VLSI chip or design the any circuits in the case of VLSI chip, so transmission gate is preferred in place of the pass transistor. Okay, so these are the pass transistors. We have understand the working and what are the limitations. So with the pass transistor, these are the limitation. That is the in the NMOS case, it's degraded 1. Okay, only the strong 0 it support or pass the strong 0, and with the PMOS, the limitation is it's pass strong 1, but the degraded 0. With this limitation, in the VLSI, prefer the transmission gate. So in your Viva or in your theory exam, maybe ask a question or question is arises that is the what do you mean by the transmission gates, and why the transmission gates are preferred over fast transistors. So they may be asked that is what are the limitations of the fast transistors. Okay, so fast transistor produce degraded output. Okay, in the case of transmission gates, pass both 0 and 1 pair. Okay, so here with the symbol of the transmission gate, this is the symbol of the transmission gate. Here A is the input, B is the output, and this is the G. So this is the just combine of the two transistors. This is the NMOS type of the transistor, and this is the PMOS type of the transistor. By combining these two transistors, we can construct a transmission gate. Okay, so in the NMOS, we know that there is no any bubble. So here I'm applying the G, and it is the complementary of the GB bar to the PMOS case. and here the one of the input, that is the A, and the output is B. Okay, so this transmission gate, this is the symbol for the transmission gate. Alternatively, a few symbols is provided for the transmission gates, like as on this slide. So you can observe that is these are also the symbol for the transmission gate. Don't confuse with it. These are also the symbol for the transmission gate, right? So this is the one of the alternative symbol. Another one is that. So always uh, and your observation is that this is the G is the one of the gate or the control or the input signal to the NMOS. So it is the complement of the GB to the PMOS. So with the if the symbol is changed, but here always that is the G, this is the GB is the G bar. G again, this is the G bar. G and G bar. Only the symbol sign or the it's uh, okay. I change. It's the alternative symbol for the transmission gate. Okay. Now we'll understand the working of the transmission gates. Okay. So the working of the transmission gate is a very simple. Uh, if you know the working of the PMOS and NMOS types of the transistor, right? So here, yes, all of you understood? Yes, please, anyone reply me?
Yes.
Yes, all of you understood this topic? Yes. Okay, now understand the working of the transmission gate. That is the G is equal to 0 and GB is equal to 1. GB, it means this is the G bar. Okay, so now here you can understand that is the when I am applying the G0, so obviously GB is the complement of the G, so it will be the 1, and it becomes that transmission gate will act as an open switch, right? And when I'm applying G to the 1, that is the NMOS type of the transistor, and GB is the complement of G, so it will be the 0, and we know that is the 1 to the NMOS, it will act as a closed switch, right? So when I'm applying G is the 0, so it will be act as an open switch, and when I'm applying G as is equal to 1, so it act as a closed switch, right? So here the limitation with the pass transistor that are resolved with the transmission gate, that is here you can understand if I'm applying the G is equal to 1, so obviously GB is equal to the 0, so it will support to pass a strong 0, and when the G is equal to 1 and GB is equal to 0, if your input is the 1, so it will able to pass a strong 1 signal, right? So these are the limitation with the pass transistors, like as in the case of the NMOS and PMOS. In the NMOS, it's support to a strong 0, and PMOS is support to strong 1. But if the input is the 1 in the NMOS, degraded one, but with the transmission gate that problem is resolved, and here when you are applying a 0 or the 1 as the input, and the condition is that if you are applying G is equal to 1, so obviously the complement signal, that is the G bar, is equal to 0, and for this condition if I am applying a 0 as the input or the 1 as the input, so it will pass that as a strong 0 and strong 1. So that's why uh, transmission gates are preferred over the pass transistors in the VLSI chip. And also this is the one of the reason. And the second reason is that is uh, the less transistors are required to implement the same logic function with the transmission gate over a pass transistors. So that is the second reason. So because of these two reasons, these transmission gates are preferred in the VLSI chip. Okay. So in the next slide, we will understand how these by using transmission gate. Okay, this is the tri-state buffer produces Z. Z is the high impedance state when not enabled. Okay, so with this table also you can understand uh, that is the tri-state buffer produces Z, that is the high impedance state only when not enable. Okay, so here with this enable 0 and enable 1, when the enable is not enabled, so in that case, uh, tri-state wafer produces a high impedance. Okay. Okay, so we'll understand the examples with the uh, transmission gate. We can implement any logic. Okay, so now here I will take the first example, that is the multiplexer. So the multiplexer is the 2:1 multiplexer chosen between two inputs. Okay, so all of you know the truth table of this multiplexer, right? So here the yes is the control signal, because the 2:1 multiplexer is there, so only one select line is required. Okay, and here I'm here we can apply the 0 or the 1 on the or to the select lines. It will shows the output appear across the y, either the D0 D1. On the D0, the content may be the 0 or the 1, or same in the D1, it may be the 1 or 0. But selection of the D0 or the D1, it depend on the selection lines. Okay, what are the signal is apply on the signal, either the 0 or 1. So here I shown in the table, that is the first, that is the 0 is apply on the signal, so it will select the D0. Okay, so it will select the D0. The D0 will appear across at the Y, and if the content of the D0 is the 0, so at the Y terminal it shows the 0, and if the content is 1, so that will appear the 1 at the Y terminal, right? And when I'm applying a 1 on the selection lines, right? So that D1 signal will appear across at the Y. Okay, right? So on the Y, it's appear the D1, and if the content of the D1 is, it may be the 0 or 1, it will appear across at the Y terminal, that is the 0 1. So this is the just simple logic of the 2:1 multiplexer. But now here the we have to implement that logic, that is the 2:1 multiplexer with the transmission gate. But we know the logic of this. So this is the Boolean expression for the this 2:1 multiplexer, that is the y is equal to s d1 plus s bar d0. Okay, so here uh, according this logic, how many transistors are required? Okay, so if I use the pass transistor to implement the logic function is for 2:1 multiplexer, so how many transistors are required, and if the same design, same logic function, if you implement with the transmission gate, so how many transistors are required? So here we'll understand. Okay, suppose this is the logic diagram. Here I implemented this is the logic diagram for the this Boolean expression. Okay, so here y is equal to, okay, uh, yes d1 plus yes bar d0. This is the logic. We have implemented the logic diagram for this Boolean expression, right? And here, how many transistors are needed? The answer is 20. So how the 20 transistors are required? We'll understand. That is, if the pass transistor is used, so please, anyone will take the uh, snapshot of all the attendees and send me on my WhatsApp. Please, I am request to one of the candidates. Please take the snapshot of the all the attendees and send me on my WhatsApp. Please.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Here, here we will understand that is the how many transistors are required to implement the this Boolean expression with the pass transistor and the transmission gate, right? So with the pass transistor require the 20 transistor, because according this logic diagram for this Boolean expression, right? So here I'll modify this diagram. This is the uh, inverter, okay, and there are the, and again this is the not, so it becomes it will provide that function. This is the modified like in that fashion. Okay, again this and here modify this NAND and not. Again this or is modified as a NOR and NOT. Okay, so that circuit is modified. And with this circuit, if I implement with the pass transistor, so it's required the 20. So how the 20? Yes, anyone tell me? Already we are implement, that is the CMOS logic for the CMOS logic for the, yes, yes, NAND gate. With the NAND gate, if you implement, how many transistors are required? 2 PMOS and 2 NMOS. So 4 transistors are required for the NAND, 4 transistors are required for the NAND again, 2 transistors for the NOT. If the window is closed, so all of you, I'm requesting to all of you please rejoin. Huh? I will schedule the meeting again, and all of you please join. We will complete this example because these are the very important. In the exam point of view, I will ask the one question to implement that design. Okay. So here, uh, this is the NAND gate, and already we have designed the CMOS logic for the NAND gate. When we have designed with the CMOS uh, logic, so 4 transistor is required, 2 PMOS and 2 NMOS. For the 4 transistor NAND, again 4 transistor for the NAND, and for the 2 transistor are required to inverter, 2 transistor for again inverter, 2 transistor are required for inverter. If the NOR is there, 4, and for the NOR 2. So 4, 8, 10, 12, 14, 18, and 2 is the 20. So if you have implement the same logic design with the past transistors, so it's required the, yes, how many transistor? 20 transistor, right? Okay, so now same logic function, if you implement with the transmission gate, that is with the mux, okay, for the 2:1 mux. So how many transistors are required? Only 4 transistors are required with the transmission gate. Yes, here you can understand that is the same logic design we can implement with the 20 transistor if you use the pass transistors, right? And same logic function we can implement if you prepare the transmission gate. So only the how many transistors are required? Only 4 transistors are required to implement the same logic, right? So here this is the one of the one transmission gate. This is the second transmission gate, right? So here you can understand when I'm applying this logic function is, that is the,
Tambah.
okay. So here only 4 transistors are required, and with these 4 transistors, we can implement same logic function, that is the y is equal to SD0. When I'm applying 0 on the yes, so it will select, that is the, sorry, yes bar. Yes is the here when I'm applying a yes as a 0, so it can complement of the yes bar. So with its complement, if the 0 is there, so it will be the 1. And when I'm applying a 0 to the PMOS, so it will act as a closed switch, and that D0 will appear across at the Y terminal. Okay, same again in the case of the D1, that is when I'm applying yes, that is the same as the yes is the 0, here the 1, right? Sorry, yes is the 0, again this yes is the 0, and this yes bar is the 1, right? 0 to the PMOS, it will on, and it will appear the D0. So in the second case, when yes is the 1, okay, yes is the 1 to the PMOS types of the transistor, okay, yes to the PMOS types of the transistor, so it becomes that D0 will be the off, and this yes is the 1, that 1 is applied to the NMOS types of the transistor, so it becomes this second transmission gate will on, and at that time, so this D1 will appear across at the Y terminal, right? So this is the operation of the transmission gate for implementing the 2:1 mux, right? So here the two major points, that is, first is that the with the few limitations with the past transistors, transmission gate is preferred because it support or it pass a strong 0 and strong 1 signal, right? And second is that the less number of the transistors are required to implement the same logic function. When we have to implement any logic function, in the case of the past transistor, just we have taken here the one example for the 2-to-1 merge. That is, in the case of the past transistors, it's required the minimum, yes, 20 transistor to implement that Boolean expression for the 2-to-1 merge. But with the transmission gate, it required the only 4 transistors. Okay. Yes. Yes, all of you understood? Yes, all.